In this video, we're going to look at the problem-solving strategy of looking for a pattern. And with any word problem, the first thing you want to do is find out what the question is. What are you being asked? Come up with a plan. We're going to use the strategy of looking for a pattern. You want to go ahead and solve the problem, carry out your plan, and always verify or check your work. Make sure your answer makes sense and that you've actually answered the question. So let's take a look at an example. The first week of chess club had 3 students, the second week had 5 students, the third week had 8 students, and the fourth had 12. If this pattern continues, how many students will show up for the 8th week? Well, what are we being asked? How many students will show up for the 8th week? We're actually going to use 2 strategies in a way here because I'm going to make a table. And we're going to figure out how many kids came that 8th week. So we should be good there. So here's week 1. This is going to be week 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many students showed up the 8th week? All right, let's see what else we know here. The first week, chess club had 3 students. So only 3 students showed up on the first week. Then the second week, we had 5 students. The third week had 8. And the fourth had 12 students. If this pattern continues, how many students will show up for the 8th week? So there must be a pattern there. Let's take a look and see if we can see one. Well, the difference between 5 and 3, if I were to subtract those, I would have a difference of 2. So if you added 2 to 3, you would get 5. The difference between these 2 numbers, 8 and 5, well, if you subtract these 2, the difference there would be 3. And the difference between 8 and 12 would be 4. So I think you see the pattern. It's going up. The next week, it would go up by 5 students, meaning we'd have 17 students in the 5th week. In the next week, we'd have 6 more students show up. If we add 6 to 17, there'd be 23 students in the 6th week. Then in the next week, 7 additional students would show up. We would have 30 students. And in that 8th week, another 8 students would show up. There would be 38 students. So how many students would show up in the 8th week? It'd be 38 students would be your answer. And I'm going to just circle it and just put A and S for answer. So let's just see. Let's double check our work. We've got 8 weeks. Looks good. You probably should reread the problem and just make sure you've plugged in the correct information. The first week had 3 students, and then 5, and then 8, and then 12. And then let's just double check our pattern here. Everything looks good, so the answer makes sense. The answer is 38 students, and that's how you can use a table and look for a pattern in solving a problem.